It's that time of the week again. It is Wednesday, which means it's prompt day. Prompt number 131. Let's get into it. We have 3 prompts. We have smirk, game of marbles, and crumpled paper. All right. Yeah, let's get into it. So it hasn't even been a week since I sketched these and am now voiceovering, but I don't know or remember why I decided to make hamsters play a marble game. Don't know why I decided to do that, but that's what the first sketch is. For some reason I have a couple of hamster people playing a game of marbles. And then of course there's just kind of a piece of crumpled paper there. Obviously wasn't feeling that one, so I moved on to a kid playing marbles against a baby, and he's smirking because he's a little piece of poop. And then I still wasn't sure about the crumpled paper, so I just had another kid in the background drawing, and there's that. I kind of liked that one just because it was kind of just an illustration of something happening. It was just a moment of time, and I kind of liked it. But of course I did want to try for some other ideas, so I did an isometric room of a kid's room with just toys in it, and it was really cute. I loved how simple it was and just how, I guess I'm just really into in the moment drawings right now. So I had a kid sitting on the floor and also another kid sneaking into the window, and then I also sketched a giant person and a small person, and the giant person was throwing marbles at the small person. And then finally, for whatever reason, I started to think about a magical girl who was summoned from a game of marbles, because a game of marbles seems to have a white chalk circle. So maybe a magical girl is summoned from these marble games. And that, as you can probably tell from the title, is the idea I ended up going with. So originally I had started this illustration as a parody against magical girl illustrations, or I guess magical girl transformation scenes, or just magical girl anime in general. Originally she was going to be coming out of the ground, like I said, as if she were summoned from this marble game, and I did want her to look majestic, but I was going to just overdo it. But then I ended up drawing her too big, as I do with all my drawings. I have an issue with drawing things too big for the paper, but then it gave me a really good idea. I seem to have a lot of happy accidents with my art. I accidentally do something and it turns into something even better. That's just my luck, I guess. So because I ran out of room to have her hands outwards, I was going to have her hands holding a giant marble or having it levitate in between her hands, but there wasn't enough room for that because I drew her too big. And then I had exaggerated her head going back so much that it seemed like her back was breaking, and it super is. But honestly, that just made for a funnier parody against magical girl transformations anyways, so I just went with it at that point. And I thought it would be really funny, instead of having her coming out all majestic, she's coming out all too wrong. So because of that, I drew a baby at the bottom who was playing with these marbles, which I would not advise because babies can choke on marbles, so I seem to be drawing a bunch of weird baby illustrations lately. I think the really funny idea here is that this baby was just playing with these marbles and accidentally put them in the right position to summon this magical girl. So in this world, there's some sort of magical girl that is summoned if you do something with a marble game, which I don't know. So this baby just happened to do it, but this baby accidentally did it right, but also technically the baby did something that was just slightly off. Maybe it did it backwards, or there's just a lot of slobber all over the marbles. I don't know, technicalities. So basically this magical girl has been summoned, but she has been summoned in the most unflattering way. Her back has been broken because of how exaggerated her pose is. Later I will be putting hair on her legs because I know so many people think that is just so disgusting. So she has been unkept and isn't in her most beautiful state. Her skirt is being blown up, exposing her booty, and everybody knows in every magical girl anime, it looks like their butt should be exposed at every second. I mean, their skirt is so short, but for some reason, their butt just is covered exactly. Not in this case, her butt is being exposed, but I didn't want to just draw an exposed booty because, let's be honest, they're probably wearing something cute under that skirt. So I gave her some bloomers. And her face is just, it's a grimace. She is in pain and she's shocked that she was even summoned. Maybe she was in the middle of cooking dinner or something, and then suddenly this baby summons her. She's put on this costume and pushed through this portal so fast that her back is breaking. Speaking of her face, I feel like I need to mention, does her face not look like something straight out of the Simpsons universe? The style, everything? I think it's a combination of her eyeballs being so close together, which is kind of odd for my style, and also her lack of chin. I have a really hard time doing a head thrown back like that. I need to do some more studies and stylization practices with that because it's not something I do often, and when I have to do it, it looks like The Simpsons, so obviously not working for me. Of course, she also has a little sidekick character because every magical girl anime ever has a cute little mascot of some sort. For whatever reason, I decided to go with some sort of combination of mouse and kangaroo animal, and I gave it a bushy little fluff at the end of its tail to connect it to the other characters because I thought it would be cute if they all matched. And it is floating on top of a giant marble because she is the marble magical princess, whatever that means. As you can see, her design has marbles all over it, so her hair is tied up with a couple of marbles. There's a giant marble on the top of her glove. Her waist has some marbles on it, probably for attacking. Maybe she throws them at people and they do things or something. Of course, we've got marbles on her boots because that's what you do when you're a magical girl. You have cute things on your boots. And I made her purple and yellow just because I thought that purple would go really well with her skin tone and yellow complements that, and it would kind of look like gold, which was kind of pretty. So that's what I went with for our character design. As far as the rest of the illustration goes, of course, we have our cute, chunky baby at the bottom, because the whole premise of this illustration is that this baby accidentally summoned this magical girl. I just loved having this smirking, excited little baby at the bottom, just so excited to see that as they were playing with their marbles, suddenly some lady is just flying out of the floor. So of course that excites this little baby. And I drew a cat also because the space just looked really empty on the right side, and I thought it would be cute if the baby also had a companion. So I drew a cat looking very spooked and startled from this lady again, just coming out of the floor all of a sudden. Ooh, that made me think, what if this baby summoned its future self and the cat turned into this little mouse creature, and then of course this is the baby when the baby's older. Ooh, that would be cool. Anyways. And just to tie everything together, the cat also has the same colors as their skin tone and their hair, and I was really proud of that, tying everything together so perfectly. I also didn't want the floor to be too barren with just marbles, so I decided to give the kid some crayons and, you guessed it, our crumpled paper, just to suggest that this kid was doing more than just playing with marbles. It was also drawing, and of course I had to include drawing because of the crumpled paper. It's also just really nice because the crayons bring a little bit of extra color around the floor area because it is kind of dull. Even though the marbles are kind of colorful, but they don't have that much color in them, just a little bit on the center. I know, there's a lot of purple in this illustration. I'm not happy with it. I mean the color. I'm happy with the illustration, but I'm still not sold on this particular type of purple. But I also didn't want it to be too dull because magical girls are usually on the brighter side, so I wanted to make sure that she wasn't this really earthy violet color. So I did make a sacrifice, I know. She's a bright purple, not super into it, but I do like her. I think she turned out great with that purple, even though I don't like purple. Have I said I don't like purple enough? Nah, I don't think so. So that is our unfortunate magical girl and our silly little baby. I love the baby. I think actually my favorite part of this illustration is the bottom half. I just really like the way that the baby turned out, and the cat is really cute, and something about the marbles all over the floor is nice, and the crayons and the paper. I'm not super happy with how the magical girl came out, especially I think the biggest thing holding it back is that she looks like a Simpsons character, but that's just something to work on. I'll get there one day. All right, let's go to the end card. Last week's prompt was soda can, teddy bear, fruit basket, and fortune cookie, and you guys had such a variety of ideas. It was so fun to look at all of these, but we have two featured artists. First up is Amy Art 5673, who drew this really magical and just mysterious illustration. Just looking at this illustration just makes me feel like I'm in another world and I don't know what's happening, but I want to know the story of this girl and what she's doing. I love the swirling magic around her in the room and the colors and that glow. You are really good at glows, and I love it. And 'cause why not? Who created this absolutely hilarious but also very unfortunate scene for this mommy teddy bear. These two kids of hers are just causing a ruckus and her ear is being ripped off, which is, again, funny but kind of sad. So I just love the energy in this scene and just how funny it is and silly. I love it. So thank you all so much for joining in. Good luck with this week's prompt, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay golden. Bye.